In the shadow of the Dolomite Mountains, in the still, snow-covered village of Sexten, Italy, a boy once carved through the white silence on skis, not yet knowing that his destiny wasn't waiting at the bottom of a slope, but across a tennis net, in cities and stadiums far from home. Jannik Sinner wasn't born into a tennis dynasty. His parents weren't elite athletes or sports entrepreneurs. His world was simple. His father, Johann, was a chef. His mother, Siglind, worked as a server. Their values, humility, hard work, and quiet discipline, became the fabric of who he would become. And while the greats of tennis often emerge from academies and systems designed to churn out champions, Sinner's path was different. It was quieter, more isolated, and perhaps more honest. His talent wasn't discovered in high-profile junior events or national tournaments. It was shaped in the solitude of mountains and the support of a modest household. As a child, Sinner excelled in skiing, winning a national title in giant slalom by the time he was 8. The early signs of athletic brilliance were obvious, but something was missing. Skiing, for all its adrenaline and beauty, depended too much on the mountain, the ice, the weather. In tennis, the result came down to the player alone. The court offered no excuses. And for a boy who loved control, responsibility, and individual battle, that mattered more than medals. At just 13, Sinner made a decision that would change his life. He gave up skiing and left his family behind in Sexten to train full-time in tennis at the Riccardo Piatti Academy in Bordighera. It was hundreds of miles from home, in a new cultural setting, surrounded by older athletes with bigger reputations. But Sinner didn't blink. He adapted quickly. He trained with intensity, listened carefully, and improved relentlessly. Piatti, a veteran coach who had worked with Novak Djokovic and Milos Raonic, immediately saw something rare in Jannik. He wasn't just talented. He was focused, deliberate, and emotionally steady beyond his years. By the time he was 17, Sinner was already competing on the ATP Challenger Tour. He won 2 titles in 2019 and broke into the world's top 100 before turning 19. That same year, he won the next-gen ATP Finals in Milan, defeating Alex de Minaur in the final. Tennis fans started paying attention. The boy with the mop of red hair, soft voice, and punishing backhand was more than a novelty. He was the future. Sinner didn't just rise. He evolved. In 2020, he reached the quarterfinals of the French Open, the youngest to do so since Rafael Nadal in 2006. He took a set off Nadal before ultimately falling in a competitive match, but the message was clear: Sinner could play with anyone. His flat, punishing ground strokes gave opponents little time. His demeanor, always calm, always calculating, made him seem far older than he was. In a sport that so often rewards volatility and spectacle, Sinner's quiet control was its own kind of force. In 2021, Sinner had his true breakout season. He won 4 ATP titles, Melbourne, Washington, Sofia, and Antwerp, and became the youngest player since Novak Djokovic in 2007 to achieve that feat in a single year. He entered the ATP top 10 and began cementing himself as a fixture in the game's upper echelon. More importantly, he did it without shortcuts. There were no gimmicks, no one-off runs, just consistent, quality tennis. Week in, week out. Still, for all his progress, questions remained. Could he handle the very best in the biggest moments? Would his lack of outward intensity hold him back in high-pressure matches? Sinner never answered those questions with words. He answered them with actions. In 2023, he reached the semi-finals at Wimbledon and played his part in a historic Davis Cup run for Italy. It was there, under the immense weight of national expectation, that Sinner delivered one of the defining moments of his career. Facing Novak Djokovic in the semi-final, he saved 3 match points and came back to win, before clinching the doubles with Lorenzo Sonego and ultimately lifting the trophy with his team. It was Italy's first Davis Cup triumph in nearly half a century. Sinner was not just a contributor, he was the heartbeat. But the moment that changed everything came in Melbourne. The 2024 Australian Open was meant to be another step forward. It became a coronation. Sinner marched through the draw, taking out top players with ease, before facing Novak Djokovic in the semi-final. He won in 4 sets, finally getting the better of the man who had dominated the event for a decade. In the final, against Daniil Medvedev, Sinner found himself 2 sets down. Many thought the match was over. But slowly, methodically, Sinner turned the tide. He began to dominate the rallies, break serve, and wear Medvedev down. In the 5th set, he was in complete control. When he won, there was no wild celebration. Just a fist pump, a smile, a look skyward. He had become a Grand Slam champion. The victory was historic. Sinner was the first Italian man to win the Australian Open, and only the 3rd Italian man in history to win a major in the Open era. But more than history, it was validation. His slow, steady rise wasn't hype. It was real. It was working. It had arrived. Sinner's game is technical, efficient, and unflinchingly aggressive. His backhand is world-class, hit flat, early, and with venom. His forehand, once seen as inconsistent, has matured into a dependable, powerful weapon. His serve, which lacked bite in early years, now earns him free points. But above all, it's his composure that sets him apart. In 5-set matches, he thrives. Under pressure, he relaxes. And when others crack, Sinner remains. He plays like a skier carving through danger, not fast for its own sake, but with purpose and control. Off the court, he remains low-key. He doesn't attend parties or dominate headlines. He plays video games, watches skiing, and maintains close ties with his family in Sex10. He speaks 3 languages fluently, but rarely wastes words. He trains hard. He recovers smart. He respects the sport and those who came before him. In an era where tennis is transitioning from the age of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, many have wondered who will carry the torch. Sinner's name is now one of the first mentioned. And yet, he doesn't chase legacy. He chases growth. With a team led by Darren Cahill and Simone Vagnozzi, he has built an environment around patience, excellence, and self-awareness. He doesn't panic if he doesn't win right away. He just keeps going. That's what he's always done. Now, at just 23 years old, Jannik Sinner stands as a Grand Slam champion, a Davis Cup hero, a top 5 mainstay, and a global ambassador of a new tennis generation. But ask him, and he'll say there's more to learn, more to earn, more to give. Jannik Sinner's story is far from over. But what he's already achieved is a testament to what's possible when natural talent meets total dedication. His journey is not built on theatrics or controversy. It's built on early mornings, silent improvements, and the courage to stay true to yourself, even when the world tries to pull you in every direction. He isn't trying to be the next Federer, or Nadal, or Djokovic. He's trying to be the first Jannik Sinner. And when the future of tennis is written, when we look back on these defining years, his name will not just be listed among the greats. It will be remembered as one of the athletes who redefined greatness itself. Thank you for following his journey. In every step, every swing, and every championship still to come, Jannik Sinner reminds us that the quietest voices can leave the loudest echoes, and that greatness, real greatness, doesn't need to arrive with noise.